What's up, YouTube? This your boy, Rel2G, the coolest man on YouTube, but can be just as wild and crazy as you folks are out there. Happy New Year's to you guys. This is my new 2012 Raw Super Show review. I'll give you details on what went down on Raw and what you didn't get to see when Raw went off the air. Before I get down to business, subscribe to my channel right there on the top left hand of the page. And also, I have a second page which will be up and running by Friday, so check that out. It's RellyRel267. I'll have the link down there at the bottom of my page. Alright, so we kick off Raw with John Cena talking about what Kane was reiterating to what he was saying to him last week about being in denial and to tell these fans what you really feel about them or whatever. And John just simply said that the 10-11 years he's worked for this company, he will continue to do what he's doing right now, not just for him, but for the WWE Universe, and not go to the dark side, quote-unquote, what Kane is trying to get him to do. For someone who's been healed for 2 years, he's going to stick to doing what he's doing. So after he says what he says, Kane, we don't get to see him, but we hear him in some audio visualization. He says, he's like saying, you're going to feel me later on during the show. So, that said, we learned later on that it's going to be a 6-man tag match, elimination tag match, featuring John Cena, Zack, Ryder, and Big Show, squaring off to face Mark Henry, Kane, and Jack Swagger. But that's later on in the show. Alright, so we get our first matchup of 2012. It's the World's Heavyweight Champion Daniel Bryan versus the Intercontinental Champion Cody Rhodes. This was a pretty okay match, but I was upset the fact it lasted just about 3.5 minutes. Twisting here with Bryan, twisting there with Rhodes. At the end, it was Daniel Bryan's roll-up on Rhodes to give him the victory. Then we have the second match, which is Wade Barrett versus Santino Marella. Wade Barrett comes out and talks about how he injures Randy Orton, that he won't compete because he injured himself. He fell down the flight of steps. Little do we know that he was pushed down the steps, or Orton might have tripped himself and he fell down. But luckily, he suffered a herniated disc, nothing more serious, so he's going to be out of action for some time, give or take maybe 5 or 6 weeks. So, meanwhile, Wade is still saying that, the barrage is sailing forward, so he's going to try to pick on somebody else, and Santino Marella is his victim. It was a pretty okay match. It was short, as much as you guys know, with Santino Marella. He ends up getting pinned with the Winds of Change. Wade wins that match. Then we get to some backstage scenes with The Miz talking about John Laurinaitis as to why R-Truth attacked him, and John Laurinaitis, the interim general manager of Raw and the executive vice president of talent relations. Don't you get tired of hearing that? So he tells Miz why he attacked him, because of something that you attacked him 2 months ago, and this is his way of payback. So he says, you gotta watch out for me. Yeah, I'll watch out for you, but you better watch out for your match. So he gives him a match with Sheamus, and he tells him, at least you're not out there looking like a lame duck, and he's talking all this craziness, and R-Truth is in the background, even though Miz doesn't see him. Then later we see Miz talking with the Bella Twins. He asking them if they've seen R-Truth. They simply says no, and he tells them, carry on, go on about your business. So R-Truth is just playing around, doing all kinds of stuff, like, shh, like it's, where's Waldo? All that good stuff. Alright, so eventually we get the match with The Miz and Sheamus. Sheamus was attacked by Miz before Miz could do anything with Sheamus, and then Sheamus came back with a bit of barrage of his little hits and kicks. And then we hear R-Truth up there with the WWE Universe with a hoodie and all, but not on his head, but on his backside. So he sees Miz, and he says, little Jimmy says, somebody gonna get got. So he chases Miz. Miz runs into Sheamus' foot. Brogue kick. Sheamus leaves R-Truth to do the rest of the trash. I shouldn't say that. So R-Truth sizes him up with a water bottle and smashes it right upside his head or his face or whatever. Enough said about that. So I think these two are going to have a match maybe part of the Royal Rumble or a match of their own. We just have to find out next week because that's when things is going to start getting set up. Alright, so we get the first main event, which is CM Punk versus Dolph Ziggler for the WWE title. And I'm not kind of surprised that they didn't make this the main event like they were saying last week. So this is to top the 10 o'clock hour. I thought we would get something else. So we get this match. Pretty intense match, but it seems like Dolph Ziggler was into the match, dominating CM Punk the whole entire time. So CM Punk did come back, but at the end it was John Laurinaitis who comes because he sees the turnbuckle is exposed. He gives the attention to the referee, and meanwhile CM Punk's got Dolph Ziggler in his anaconda grip, and he's tapping out, and CM Punk's like, "What are you doing, John?" And John is like, "The turnbuckle was exposed, so I had to get the referee." And he said, "I had to do it." So all of that, he pushed him into John Laurinaitis, knocking Laurinaitis right off the rope, but not down on the floor. So he's hanging for dear life on the rope after he's got smacked around or whatever. And CM Punk ran into the ropes, but Laurinaitis pulled the rope down. CM Punk falls onto the floor. Who does that? But CM Punk is eventually counted out. Dolph Ziggler wins by a count out, but CM Punk retains the title. But Ziggler, toying with CM Punk, stole the title and ran off somewhere. Then we see CM Punk in the back telling John Laurinaitis, "You screwed me again." Yeah, and Dolph Ziggler beat you again, so he's got to face you at the Royal Rumble for the WWE title. And we need a special guest referee, so he names himself the referee, and CM Punk just simply says, "Oh, you get in my way, you should ever happen to screw me, I'll be in jail for animal cruelty because I'm going to beat my ass like a bitch." Then we get the Divas match, tag team Divas. We got Kelly Kelly and Eve versus the Bella Twins. This was an okay match, but you know, with the Bella Twins, they always going to do their little switcheroo. But what impressed me with this match was Eve's high-flying ability, like almost an Evan Bourne type of move that she did on Bria. So Bria gets hurt by the referee, and the Divas try to tag each other. Kelly comes into the ring and tries to pin Brie, but little do we know that Nikki completely switches around with her sister, and she's acting like the wounded Bella Twin. So eventually, she tries to pin and she rolls her up. Kelly's down for the count. The Bella Twins win, still one away from Kelly and Eve Torres. So here's what we've been waiting for. It begins in 2012. The promo just simply saying, "He's here," and we've been saying that it's Chris Jericho. I figured it out at the last minute, but I wasn't quite sure because everything that I was saying early part of the show this week. So it's Chris Jericho. He's coming out all smiling, his jacket all lit up. He's got his little lights on and stuff, and he's just looking at the fans. Everybody's cheering for him and stuff, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, it's Chris Jericho. Wow." So then Chris Jericho just toying around with the fans because you know he likes to play with the fans in the WWE Universe. So he's running all around saying, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah," and just slapping fives all around the circles and stuff like that. He gets into the ring with the mic and he's like, "Come on, come on." It was confusing to me, and I wondered the WWE Universe kind of thought it was confusing as well. So he was in the ring for almost 5-6 minutes. He said absolutely nothing. All was just yeah, yeah, yeah. And he ran out, had the video camera around the FedEx Arena, and then he goes back up to where he came from, and he looks here and he looks there, and he's got the crowd all pumping him up and stuff. And then the eventual turn. That was so confusing, but I liked how he left. He left knowing that he is still the heel that he once was when he first left the WWE, and now we know what to look out for. He's going to set a feud with Punk, because if you recall, when he was in the ring with the mic, he was about to say something, and he just dropped the mic. So obviously he's going to try to pick a feud with CM Punk. I think something bigger is going to happen in the coming weeks, maybe. But we'll see. So it was a crazy way to come back to Raw and just a good way to leave, letting us know that he's heel again. Alright, so the main event. We get the 6-man elimination tag, but we come to find out during this match, the match hasn't even started, that Kane is not going to participate. So I'm like, what the hell? So they made it a handicap match. And this was not much of a match because everybody's going all over the place. Mark Henry and Big Show were eliminated because Mark Henry tried to hit Big Show with the chair, and Big Show hits the big forehand, the right hand to Mark Henry in the chair. That's when they were disqualified or eliminated, whatever you want to call it. So it's Zack, Ryder, John Cena, and Jack Swagger in the ring. Swagger had the ankle lock on Ryder. Ryder tags Cena. Cena puts Swagger into the attitude adjustment. The match is over. So it was a quick way to sort of like end the show. But Kane comes out. And John Cena goes to try to approach Kane, but he doesn't see him. Kane comes out of the ring from under the ring, and he attacks Zack Ryder, so he goes and tries to save Zack, but he ends up grabbing Cena like one of those mandible claws, which you're not putting nothing in your mouth. He's not putting his hand or nothing in his mouth. He's got it all over his eyes and his nose and his mouth, I guess, to kind of like calm him down for a little bit. So Kane looks at Zack Ryder in the ring. He goes into the ring, commences to grab his leg and pull him into the hole where he first came out of. And he's about to get sucked into, I guess, what we call the hole of hell. But Cena eventually grabbed Zack Ryder. And man, let me tell you, he was this close from going under the ring with Kane in hell. So he saved him. And they get into the ring. And Kane's already out. It was a big old firebomb right through the hole of that where Kane came out of, and simply that's how Raw went off the air. But what you didn't know what happened after the show went off. Kane comes back out of the hole and tries to get with Cena, but Cena had the upper hand and he took care of Kane after all of this. And so we eventually get to what I was saying in my show, that it was going to be a Memphis street fight between Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler, which happened right as Raw went off the air, but we didn't get to see it. So, you know, Cole saying what he was saying and all of that, and Jerry Lawler just eventually did what he had to do. Michael Cole was trying to get out of being in the street fight, but Daniel Bryan is involved in this match just as well. He puts Cole back in the ring. Jerry Lawler did his little move, and Jerry Lawler won the match, and eventually he thanked the fans. So that's what you didn't see on Raw when Raw went off the air. The rest you just have to look at next week. Probably something even bigger to happen on Monday night of next week. Alright, that is my Raw review show. This week, it was kind of long, but guess what? We had a lot to cover. So now that you know what's up with me, subscribe to my channel. Come back next Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'll give you what went down on Raw and what you didn't get to see after Raw went off the air. I do thank y'all for watching. Do come back next week. I'm Real2G. I'm out. I'm thirsty, so I will check y'all later. Alright, deuces.